Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Wild, Wild Death, the show where we talk about all the ways people opened the door to the other side in the Old West. Each week, we will spin the wagon wheel of untimely demise, and whichever manner of death it lands on, we'll tell you a story about it. My name is Susan Busa-Leshner.
My name is Jack James Busa.
And I'm Leslie Sadali. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing okay. I was working, I work in nightlife. I was working till like 4:30 in the morning, and nothing gets me out of bed early quite like a precocious tale of death from the Old West. How are you, Mommy?
Some of you might know I'm a screenwriting professor, and I've just been reading a whole lot of scripts. So this is April, it's that time of year. So coming to the end of that. Other than that, it's a beautiful day. My roses are blooming in the backyard. We're going to talk about death. Wait, how are things going over with you, Leslie?
Oh, everything's great. Getting ready to go on a little trip to visit my daughter in Ohio.
You could visit the home of President Grover Cleveland.
Oh, is that where it is?
Wait, is President Grover Cleveland, is he like the really large, what was he famous for? He had like the big tub?
Yeah, he was the president that got stuck in the bathtub because he was too big for it.
Very presidential.
All right, let's talk about death now. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Leslie, would you be so kind as to spin the wagon wheel of untimely demise?
Yes, I would. This is my favorite part of the week. Here we go. Woo! Yes.
It's arm day.
Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Death by entertainment.
Oh, okay. Death by entertainment. I just love a death by entertainment. It's like, sounds like the most amazing television show on like FX or something like that. Anyway, I have a story. And our story happens in San Francisco. A decade earlier, San Francisco had been a sleepy little town of less than 500 people. But during the California gold rush of 1849, in less than a year, the population of San Francisco exploded with folks looking to dig up a fortune in gold. But there were other ways to make quick money in San Francisco during this period, and one way was in the Barbary Coast. The Barbary Coast was a red light district that came into being during the gold rush. It was notorious for its lawlessness. But there was entertainment, gambling, prostitution, drag shows, drinking, drugging, dance halls, and burlesque. San Francisco's Barbary Coast was named after the Barbary Coast of North Africa, where local pirates and slave traders launched raids. That region was notorious for the kind of hangouts that preyed upon customers, just like they were now doing in San Francisco's Barbary Coast. But if you were a miner or a sailor or a traveler visiting San Francisco and could pay for female companionship, or you just wanted some really lowbrow entertainment, the Barbary Coast is where you'd go.
You're like, you know what, honey? You know what I'm in the mood for? Really lowbrow entertainment. Leslie, let's go. She's like, I'm getting on my shoes.
Sounds like a good time.
The opera's getting entirely too boring. Why don't we go down for some lowbrow entertainment this evening?
You know what I always wonder? Why do they call it the red light district?
'Cause it's sexy.
Oh.
I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm sure. I don't know. My boyfriend makes fun of me because every time I say like I know where things come from and I just make them up. I don't actually know. I'm just imagining like there's red lights on and it's a bit sexier than like a white light.
Yeah, there wasn't any light bulbs. So it'd be like gaslight or candles.
I definitely made that up.
Yeah, I mean, do you know, Leslie, why?
It seems like it was because of the, just to differentiate it from regular lights, the prostitutes would put a red thing on it so that you would know, hey, go here for a good time.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
No matter how you cut it, this is a shady place, and it had more than its share of characters. One of them was a woman named Bertha Heyman, also known as Big Bertha. Pause. Bertha Heyman is a freaking hilarious name. And they went, you know what would make it even better? We call her Big Bertha. Bertha Heyman sounds like a drag queen name, like Bertha Hyman. Bertha Heyman. It's one of those play on words.
It does.
Like pun drag queen names.
Bertha, like birth. I mean, just to make it just like
Bertha?
Just to like forensically break it apart to where it's not funny anymore.
Please do. She went by Big Bertha, though, and her first claim to fame was being a con woman, a swindler, if you will. In fact, she was profiled in an 1886 book titled Professional Criminals of America.
She hit the big time.
Oh, yeah, she made it in print. And that book describes her as the following. 35 years old in 1886, born in Germany, married, very stout woman, height 5 feet 4.5 inches, weight 245 pounds, hair brown, eyes brown. Listen, don't make fun of Big Bertha. Eyes brown, fair complexion. This is my favorite part. German face? What the heck does that mean?
I don't. Dumpling?
An excellent talker. Yeah, I guess. Excellent talker, and with 4 moles on her right cheek.
Oh.
Super hot. But she's a pretty interesting person as we get into it. Anyway, she arrived in San Francisco in the 1840s. Bertha claimed to be a wealthy widow. Bertha wasn't the most attractive woman, but she evidently had a lot of charm, and soon suitors were knocking on her door. Once one confessed his undying love, she would ask him to help her access her fortune and loan her some money with the promise of much more to come. But of course, no one ever saw their money ever again. However, it looks like getting caught added to her fame, and she wound up being kind of a performance artist in a gambling hall called the Bella Union.
It's a great name for a gambling hall.
No, the Bella Union, beautiful union. First, the manager of the Bella Union put her in a storefront window with a sign that said, Big Bertha, the Queen of Confidence Women, admission 10 cents.
Leslie, you and I are walking down the street. Somehow it's safe for 2 women to be walking alone the Barbary Coast, right? And we see her standing in the window, one hand on her hip, moles on her cheek. And they go, Queen of the Confidence Women. It's a dime. Would you pay a dime to go in?
I think I would, Susan.
I go in and I want to ask her, do you like doing this?
I just think the term confidence woman is interesting.
On multiple levels.
Right?
But here's the thing. Usually we're asking each other, would you go to the hanging?
Yeah.
Changing it up on this episode.
I mean, as opposed to watching somebody die, here's my dime. I'd definitely watch that.
Yeah, it's a break in entertainment. They're really fleshing out the Old West.
Fleshing.
Yeah. Anyway, she's in the storefront window, Big Bertha, Queen of the Confidence Women, admission 10 cents. And when you paid your money and you went in to see the show, she would recount a list of terrible crimes that she may or may not have committed. And then she would sing an off-key rendition of the song, A Flower from My Angel Mother's Grave. So
I would go
obviously
see that for
Bertha.
sure.
Yeah, actually, now that I say that, I would definitely go do
I'd
it.
go see it now.
Yeah. Bertha quickly became the Bella Union's biggest attraction. No pun intended.
Wow.
Sorry.
Oh.
Hey, can I pause for just 1 second? This is what's been
Yes.
bothering me since we started talking about this. That book came out in 1887, right? And it says
1886.
1886. And it says she's 36 years old. But she came to San Francisco in the 1840s. I'm a little confused.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I don't think something's not true. So, just pointing that out. Math doesn't work for me.
But also, she's a widow, or she said she's a widow. So 15 years before, if she's 35, math, so she'd be 20
No.
math.
1887, 1840.
Yeah. No, yeah. Oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
No, there's something going on.
Maybe they're talking about when she was doing her crimes, she was 36. Who knows?
Sure. The age she wanted to be remembered by was 36.
Oh no. It's that it was they were describing something that had been written about her in the past, right?
It's hard to know. Because it also could be read
okay.
if these are the criminals of today. So I don't know. I'd have to see the
Yeah.
book.
She's eternally
Interesting.
35, 36.
As we all are.
But meanwhile, there's another performer who's making his mark on the Barbary coast. And his name was Oofty Goofty, the human punching bag.
Oh, what? The
No
human
way.
punching bag. Lordy.
You are making that up, Jack Busa.
No, I'm not. And his mother gave birth to him. She goes, and his name will be Oofty Goofty. Yeah.
It's probably something like Joe Smith.
Yeah, right. He was like, I'll go by this. Anyway, Oofty Goofty, the human punching bag.
Oh my God.
And he got the first part of his stage name after he plastered himself with tar and horsehair, got into a cage, and claimed to be the wild man of Borneo. And he would shred hunks of raw meat with his teeth and rattled the cage and snarl, "Oofty Goofty, Oofty Goofty."
Nothing racist going on here at all.
Nothing
not at all.
problematic with this.
Oh my God.
No,
Yeah.
The more and more we get into these stories, the more I realize that there was absolutely nothing problematic about way back when. Yeah, incredibly racist. Yes. Oofty Goofty, human punching bag, and notorious racist. Yes.
And he also had to pull somehow tar and hair or something off of himself. So there, he paid a price.
Wow.
God.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. Anyway, lowbrow entertainment over here on the Barbary coast. Pause. My dog is barking.
So, Oofty Goofty.
He was a hit, so the folks at the Bella Union paired Oofty and Big Bertha in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
Genius.
Dream casting.
Whoever's running the Bella Union is hilarical. They go, what we should do?
That's exactly probably what happened. They're sitting around going, drinking some whiskey going, you know what? Yeah.
It'd be
You
hilarious.
know what would be funny?
But Big Bertha was too big for the balcony. So Oofty, with her German face. So Oofty Goofty playing Romeo wait, hold on. Let me clarify this. He played Romeo as the wild man, as Romeo, from the balcony, screamed Romeo's lines up there. That is freaking hilarious.
What light through yonder window breaks?
Oofty Goofty.
The very best in lowbrow entertainment.
Yes, they're raising the bar. Eventually, though, Big Bertha became the owner of the Bella Union, while Oofty Goofty went on to the second part of his career. It turns out that every time a saloon owner would have him thrown out into the streets, the fall would not hurt him.
Because he's drunk.
Probably because he's freaking wasted.
Yeah.
So Oofty Goofty became the human punching bag.
Oh, that's
and he
just
charged.
sad.
I know. The whole thing is, yeah, it's kind of sad. But he made some money. He charged people to hit him. And a punch cost 5 cents. A kick in the rear was 10 cents. And a baseball bat to the rear cost a quarter.
Oh,
To be fair, I've done worse for less money. It's okay.
no, you haven't.
No.
Stop.
I know.
Stop saying that. You have not. And if you have, we need to have a talk after this show.
No, I would. But it went pretty well. I considering you're being beat up all the time. It went pretty well until John L. Sullivan, the heavyweight boxing champ, slugged him with a pool cue, and that was the end of Oofty's career as the human punching bag. But that's showbiz, kid. I really hope Oofty got the money up front.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was Oofty's Oofty's career. But all that aside, the biggest entertainment that came into San Francisco, or really anywhere at the time, was the circus. When it rolled into town, it brought the world with it. Jugglers, acrobats, exotic animals, the sideshow, and of course, clowns.
Dun dun dun.
Oh yeah, stories don't go well with clowns. You never hear about a nice clown, and I think this story might actually be why. The circus was a great night out in Old West, and that's probably what 13-year-old William Snyder thought too. January 10th, 1854. There was a small circus appearing in the Barbary coast area. Papers called it a small Spanish theatrical representation, and Willie Snyder was in the crowd. William was originally from Cincinnati, and it's not clear how he would wind up in San Francisco, and I'm not entirely sure why a 13-year-old would be on the debaucherous Barbary coast. But 13 then and 13 now are very, very different. So,
And also debaucherous. I don't think I've heard that one before.
That was a really good word,
Yeah.
Jack.
That's the SAT word. Yeah, I'm. I watch a lot of Frasier, so there's things going on in there. He might have just been there as an audience member. He might have been there selling peanuts. But what is clear is that this became a performance that no one in the audience would ever forget.
Uh-oh.
There was yeah. Oh, God. See, the stories always sound so nice when we start them. There was a clown in the show by the name of Manuel Reys. During the course of the performance, he grabbed William by the heels and swung him around and around and around until blood was coming from William's mouth.
Oh,
I know. William was taken to the hospital where he died.
poor William.
That is awful.
Here's the notice that ran in the evening edition of the Sacramento Daily Union on January 13th, 1854. The coroner held an inquest today upon the body of W.M., which is William. W.M. Bernard, the boy who was injured last night at the Pacific Street Circus by the clown, they italicized clown, by the clown swinging him around. A post-mortem examination was held upon the body, the result of which proved to be that death was caused by a rupture of the left pulmonary artery. The coroner's jury, not entertainment. The coroner's jury returned a verdict of death being produced by accident. He was a native of Cincinnati, Ohio, and he was about 13 years of age.
And you know what? You gotta wonder what Big Bertha thought when she heard about this.
Big Bertha was like, I'm not liable, and she ran out to have a smoke. No, that's not true. I don't know if that happened. Yeah. The vital, I have this like little vital records clip, little tearaway as well. Just says born in Cincinnati, we know, buried on January 11th, 1854, 13 years of age and 6 months. He was killed by being swung around by the heels of a circus clown.
I'm sorry, but that's such a weird thing.
Susan, quit laughing.
That's so terrible. We don't read it in the paper.
The guys who had to write the vital records and put it in the paper were like, killed but on the typewriter by being swung around by the heels. We need an adjective. Circus clown. Anyway,
oh my God.
he was buried in San Francisco.
Oh wow.
Manuel Reys was arrested for murder.
Whoa.
And his case was sent to the grand jury. But as the death was ruled an accident, probably nothing came of it. Here's why I think it's an accident. I did a clowning class in college. My BFA is really coming in handy in all types of ways. But but the thing with clowning is, as far as I understand it, and feel free to correct me, clowns listening out there, which there very well might be. I think you're supposed to, you like repeat something. If something works, if something you get a rise out of it in any way, you keep doing it over and over. So I'm sure that when he first picked this kid up, everyone went, whoa, and he's swinging him around like he just kept doing it until he died. But
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think at some point the kid might have been screaming stop and you would have. But just think how strong this guy was.
Is that? Also, how scary.
Yeah,
You're 13
terrible.
years old and this clown is spinning you to your death. In front of people. Anyway,
Yeah, like it would be so much better if it was in private.
well, no, but it's like a sensory, it's like a nightmare.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
awful.
that's a total nightmare. That's a nightmare. Anyway, so in 1858, Reyes was charged of assault and battery on a police officer and was sent to prison. During his court hearing, he, quote, commenced slapping his face as if a swarm of mosquitoes were pestering him. In my research, I read that Manuel Reys was described as being a, quote, mentally defected, unquote, circus clown, which, yeah. William was buried in the Yerba Buena Cemetery, probably the day after the event on January 11th, 1854. But you cannot visit William's grave because the original cemetery where he was buried is now the site of the Asian Art Museum and Public Library. In 1870, some of the bodies were moved to the Golden Gate Cemetery, so he may have been reinterred there in a common grave. The other thing that might have happened to his body, which is really gross, is that the body might have been turned into adipocere, also known as grave wax, and as a result, might have been stolen. Oh no. He might have been stolen from the Yerba Buena Cemetery to make soap. Poor William. If there was ever a ghost that was going to haunt the earth, I think he has the most credibility.
It's interesting you say poor William, and I'm sitting here thinking, poor guy that used that soap.
Well, why are we laughing? That's terrible. It was fun when we were over there with Big Bertha and Oofty Goofty, but then we went to the circus.
The lesson of the story is it's all fun and games until one clown ruins it for everybody.
Oh.
God.
If you'd like to know more about this episode, check the links in our show notes and follow us on social media at The Wild Wild Death.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Adios, muchachos. The Wild Wild Death is a 2222 Media production.